Hi, welcome to Ranging Country. I'm Lawrence.
And I'm Peter.
And we're here to bring you... It seems like only yesterday that we had these new Precihole rifles, and we seem to do 6,000 videos on them every single week. But we're back with another one, but this one's different.
We've just had quite a few delivered though, haven't we? So they're new to us.
Yep. And
so I think we've got to...
It's the rest of the range coming through now, not just the target rifles. We get to see what they're all like.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, and we'll show you what this one is. Okay, so what have we got then? So first of all, this is the Precihole Achilles. The naming convention is gods, but not just like Greek gods, Romans as well. It's a little bit confusing, I'll be honest. But you've just got to know what you want, basically.
I don't suppose it matters, does it really? It's an Achilles. Yeah. Name's a name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't, there's no like progression. With like air arms and stuff, it's 400,
numbers, yeah,
500,
yeah.
500. Anyway, yeah, they're just a bit different. So what features have we got then?
Okay, so now at the rear, starting at the rear, we have a rubber molded butt plate, non-adjustable. It's what you'd expect on a rifle of this sort of price and spec. Now, the stock, it is functional.
It's a hard-wearing synthetic.
It is a hard-wearing synthetic.
Yeah.
It looks probably more of a budget synthetic stock.
Yeah.
It's not a high-end synthetic stock, is it?
No.
It performs a function, I guess.
Yeah. This rifle is a lightweight hunting PCP. And I think for that, the stock fits perfectly.
Yeah.
It is very, very light. Obviously, it's synthetic, so it works wonders. It's very, very light, and it's going to be durable, isn't it?
Durable, yeah. Functional, utilitarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will just say at the start of this review then, the Precihole rifles that we've seen are giving me big air arms vibes, as in, like the ethos of air arms rifles is functionally high quality. Built really well around the bits that need building well. Stock's a little bit cheaper, but the action is brilliant.
That's an interesting analogy, isn't it, really?
Trigger's really, obviously we'll get into all this later.
Interesting.
Trigger's really sharp, barrel's excellent, really functional.
So we've got a trigger blade here. Now, we've got the same safety come decocker that we had on the target rifles, haven't we? Now, this is quite interesting. So I've cocked it. I know there's nothing in it. Very quiet rifle. So that fires. Now cock it again. Press that across so it's on safe. Pull the trigger, click. And it's got that same decocker, hasn't it, as the target rifles. And so you can practice your trigger control without firing the rifle.
And it's about the only safety catch that makes a rifle truly safe. Normally a safety catch just blocks the trigger moving back, which is kind of a bit pointless because all of the action is still
doesn't block the sears moving out and dropping out of the hammer.
Whereas that is exactly
that's
what
very interesting. And you don't have to reset it. Once you've put that on, it's on. You don't have to reset it each time. I'm not sure how this works. Now, one of these days I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to strip one of these down and find out how it works. But it is quite interesting.
Issue that I can see coming though.
What's that?
You've got a magazine full.
Yep.
You're out hunting, whatever. You can't remember if you cocked it or not.
Interesting point.
Yeah. Well, you can't remember if you got the safety catch.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I'm just trying to work out what I've got in my head is you got the magazine in, you fire it with the safety catch on, and then you have to recock it and you put another pellet into the barrel.
But would you fire it with the safety catch on when you're out in the woods with a magazine in it? You probably wouldn't, would you?
You would have to forget that you've got the safety catch on.
Yeah.
I guess. So I guess that's kind of a moot point. Yeah. I will shut up.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting to discuss these things because that's how we find out about things, isn't it? Really.
But that is certainly one thing that you could do. If you pull the trigger with the safety catch on, when you recock it, you'll double
load it.
So just don't pull the trigger with the safety catch on if you've got magazine full, I guess.
Now we'll talk about the magazines in a minute because quite interesting points on those. I mean, there's good bits and there's bad bits on it, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, but moving forward on the stock, we've got the trigger, we've got the metal trigger guard here.
They've not skimped on the trigger guard itself. On the bit that's going to catch you if you drop it, it's not going to break and pull the trigger or anything.
Yeah. Moving forward, you've got I want to discuss that. That's a nice smooth action.
So you've got, I don't know how well the camera can see it here. You've got a gauge on the end here, but just before the gauge is a nice, really grippy metal knurled section that spins and uncovers the fill port. The fill port. It's a push-in probe connector with a quick coupler end on it. So if you've got a hand pump, this will go straight to it. Or if you've got a cylinder, you'll need a quick coupler on the end of the cylinder. But that is, again, comes back to the stock feels a little bit cheaper, but that feels quality. It's, like you say, really smooth. It's very consistent all the way around. There's not like a stiff bit and then loose.
Smooth, yeah. I don't know how they've done that. It's almost like it has bearings, but obviously it hasn't.
Yeah. So that's very, very nice. High quality section there and a nice simple solution to keep dust out and stuff. The gauge on the end is color coded. Yellow is too low, green is bang on, red is too high. These rifles are non-regulated, so you will have a little bit of a power curve. Again, like an air arms, which is another thing that made me think that. So we did find, we filled it up. We had a couple shots that were going astray. Couldn't work out why. 10 shots.
We realised that was behind the trigger, didn't we?
Hey. 5 or 6 shots later, bring it down into its sweet spot, and it's bang on again. So yes, and that's kept all together with a nice little neat barrel band here, which again is all metal, all quality.
You got moderator up that end, haven't you? Now you told me this is a slip-on one, didn't you?
Yeah. So you've got 2 grub screws underneath, again similar to air arms, like an S400 or an S410. 2 grub screws underneath, and then obviously that will come off there. Means you can't change it, but it does come with it. It's very, very effective. It's very, very quiet. So it's brilliant. I would say that you wouldn't necessarily need to upgrade it or anything, or change it or anything like that.
Funny they don't screw cut them, isn't it, with a 1/2 inch UNF thread?
Yeah, I guess.
Like
but
most of the manufacturers do.
If it's a hunting rifle, they can save the money on the thread, include a silencer with it, and you're just better off.
Yeah. Jury's out on that one.
You're not convinced, but
no, I'm not. No. Moving back towards here, we have a 9-11 dovetail rail.
Yeah.
Here, and we have a super smooth cocking action. Now, for the price point of this rifle, now we are talking mid 400s currently at time of filming. Mid 400s for this Precihole PCP air rifle.
You've forgotten the name of it.
No, I haven't. No, Achilles.
Okay.
Yeah. It's super smooth. Now I was trying to think of what else is in sort of this sort of price bracket that we could compare it to.
Yeah.
Now, the weight of it and the feel of it does, to me, it does suggest Stoeger XM1, something like that.
Do you think? I mean, we're talking a different price point there.
The
XM1 Scout There you go.
Scout. How much is a Scout?
About the same, 450, I think. Don't come at me, comment leavers. I'm sure you will. I think it starts with 4, but I can't remember.
Okay, so this is
another option would be the Reminiscent Pretensis, but that is a bigger, heavier rifle. Bigger shot count, but it's heavier.
Yeah. Now this does feel quality.
Yeah.
It really does feel quality. From an engineering side of it, it doesn't feel like it's flimsy and it doesn't feel like it's going to break.
No, not at all. Is there a little bit of wobble? A little bit, but it's still positive, and certainly better than most other things in this sort of price range.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I think the engineering far exceeds other brands.
Do you want to know one way you can usually catch out a cheaper rifle?
How?
Is if you lift the bolt up as you push it forward and backwards.
Okay.
Quite often you'll feel if there's like poorly aligned screws or anything like that. Do it to that, like butter.
So I'm putting fairly firm pressure upwards on that as I'm pulling it back. I get what you mean.
Still as smooth as ever.
You're thinking when you've got a biathlon lever coming down, and where you just grip it at the bottom of the lever, aren't you?
Yeah, if you twist it.
When you're taking it off.
That's usually how you find out, yeah.
Yeah. And some of them are not so smooth, are they, when you do that?
Correct, yeah. Certainly in this price point, yeah.
Super smooth. Super smooth. Now this one is equipped. Now I've just put it in just before we started. The single shot tray.
Yeah, they come with a single shot tray and they come with a 10 round magazine in 177. I'm afraid I don't have the figures on the 2.2. We only had the 177 to test, so that's the one I'm going to test. Yeah, we'll get into the magazine in a little while when we get it out. But yeah, comes a little single shot tray. I don't know how much you'd use it if it's designed to be a hunting rifle, but it's a plastic, is it?
Why wouldn't you use this on the range then?
Well, the shot count is a little bit lower than you could get for the same price point. You only get about 60 shots, and that's with me testing it at full power. Full power, which is about 11 foot-pound, 11.1, something like that.
Okay. So what in this sort of price bracket is going to have a higher shot count than that?
Rex Max Myth. The Pretensis would. Pretensis is a bit bigger, I think.
Okay, yeah. Certainly not the... Sorry?
I'm sure there are others. There are others.
Yeah. Yeah. Trade-off with size, though. Size, that would easily suit a junior, wouldn't it?
I.e. how skinny the grip is. Yeah.
Yeah, junior's hand. Definitely. Yeah. So, very simple, single shot tray. A piece of... It's a small piece of plastic, isn't it? Does the job. Works perfectly.
Oh, it's an O-ring in there. I wondered if that was like a grub screw that you could screw in and adjust or anything. It's not.
No.
Little O-ring to hold it in nice and tight.
So on this magazine, it's quite interesting.
Onto the magazine.
Yeah. Now, you weren't so keen, were you?
No. Not really.
Now, on some magazines where you have to turn the carousel to load your first pellet. Can
we get a top camera view of this? So top camera, I don't know how well you see. Yeah, she's out of focus there. There we go. Okay. You can see completely through. There's no O-ring in here. There's no magazine O-ring or anything. So there's nothing stopping. There's nothing holding the pellets in. So what you can do is, if you kind of not really think about it, if you spin the magazine round to load your pellet in and you drop your pellet through, it will just drop straight down the other side.
It will on a lot of magazines though, won't it?
Yes, but usually that's just on like the first one, or...
Okay, now what I liked about this magazine, so this hole in the faceplate is elongated. So it's not a round hole. Now what you can do, you can just turn that carousel just past that hole, past the exit hole.
That's very nice. It's very easy to use.
pop your pellet in
Mhm.
and then turn it again.
Yeah.
But then you brought up another point that you didn't like,
Yeah.
didn't you?
So you've got it held there.
Yeah.
And you've spun it round with your finger at the
Carousel with
top.
your finger, yeah.
You've run out of movement on that carousel. How do you reset your finger?
So now what I've found, you've got to hold the magazine vertical to let go of that.
Yeah.
To get a second grip on it.
Yeah. To stop that pellet dropping through as you release the tension to coil your finger round to go again.
Now, I think they could have sorted that by having either a larger piece of the carousel visible for you to grip.
Yeah, you could have had it
or
underneath.
in two positions.
Then you could hold it with your thumb. That
Yeah.
might have been an idea.
But they've thought about it, and they've made some progress in the way of loading the pellets. They haven't nailed it though, have they? Like you said, there's good and there's bad.
Yes, 100%. It works faultlessly. It goes into the rifle really smoothly. It's held in firmly. All of the good adjectives. It loads into the breech really really smoothly as well. It's just that initial loading. You've just got to think about it, and you've just got to remember.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way that you could sort of claw, hold it, and then keep your finger behind it. I'm sure there is a way. But
depends how big your fingers are. I think I can run my second finger behind my first.
Yeah, a little bit dexterity needed, I think.
Yeah, bit of thought. But they have thought about it. They've elongated that hole a little bit like a Catran.
Yes, like an Air Max magazine where you spin it just past and you drop it in.
And the hole's a little bit elongated, so the pellet doesn't go in level with the hole where it can pop straight out the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Quite a bit of tension on that spring as well.
Yeah.
Good or bad? Just right.
So that's my, I think, probably only gripe, but I'm sure there'll be one more to come.
If you use a single shot tray, that wouldn't be a gripe, would it?
There you go. Just use the hunting rifle as a single shot tray. Yeah. Shall we jump into handling?
Yeah.
Give some numbers and see how it feels. Okay, into handling then. So headline figures. Lengthwise, it's 42 inches, 106 centimeters, fairly standard rifle length. That includes the silencer, the 7-inch long silencer, and it's about 3.2 kilos with this big old scope on it. And this is a Hawk Vantage wide angle, Vantage 30 wide angle.
Very nice scope.
4-16, yeah.
4-16, yeah.
Nearly worth as much as the rifle, actually. So about half a kilo of scope.
Just shows how good value the rifle is. Yeah.
Yeah, just over 2.5 kilos for the rifle, 2 3/4, something like that. Again, it's a light rifle. That's what it's designed to be.
You mentioned earlier, you get round about 60 full power shots, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's a 200 bar fill. And it does say underneath there, maximum fill pressure, not more than 200 bar. So, now we've both shot this, haven't we?
Yeah. We've
both had a good shoot at this. Now, I was quite surprised at the accuracy that I was getting from it.
I was impressed with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I mean,
straight out of the box. We didn't clean the barrel. We didn't do anything.
I didn't mess about with the trigger or any. I was getting the same hole groups in my testing, in practicing and that sort of thing.
No, I did, didn't I?
Without the pressure of the cameras.
Yeah. Now I backed the trigger off a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I got the instructions out and they are written in very clear English. And it told me exactly which screw to adjust to, which is quite refreshing.
Got a little diagram down there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite refreshing. And it said, I did that, I turned it clockwise and it wouldn't cock. And I read the instructions again and it says, if you turn it too much clockwise, it won't cock. So it's quite simple. Just turned it back a little bit. Did the job. I lightened the trigger off. I felt it was quite heavy for me. Probably with it being a light rifle, I felt it. I was pulling it off a little bit as I was shooting it. So I did lighten the trigger off.
Everyone's got their own opinion. Some of them are wrong, but everyone's got their own opinion.
Some of them are. That's a very polite way of putting it, isn't it?
I didn't think it. I thought it was exemplary.
Did you?
The action of shooting it was, yeah, for this sort of price point, really, really good. Really high quality. You can tell they put a lot of thought into the mechanics of it, how the trigger works, how it adjusts as well, and how smooth the action is. I will say I felt the stock was quite comfortable. You've got a good amount of stippling up front here, a lot of grip, which obviously that's what it's designed to be. It's not necessarily meant to be a looker. It's a competent rifle, competent hunting rifle.
I think this would suit a junior very well because that is a narrow pistol grip as well, isn't it? On there,
It is a narrow
it's
pistol.
a narrow forend as well.
Yeah, but it's not a shorter length of pull. I haven't got the measurement for the length of pull, i.e. the distance from the butt to the trigger blade, but we are about to.
13.5.
It's just a little bit shorter than normal.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think the other Preciholes were as well.
Were they those target rifles? There you go.
Whether that's got anything to do with the stature of...
I was wondering how I was going to make the joke.
No, it's a fair point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it balanced really, really well, even though it's sort of a standard full-length rifle and you've got quite a big scope up top. I thought it balanced really, really well. Again, I couldn't fault the bits that mattered.
Now, the only thing that we don't know about this rifle and these rifles is how they're going to stand up to the test of time for longevity.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that gives you confidence, though, is you've got the support of air arms, haven't you?
Yeah.
So, I'm not worried.
Air Arms are all English manufacturer. They've got their own repair centre on the south coast. Them putting their word against it, their name against it.
You've got the backing of air arms behind these.
Yeah. Shall we do the actual shooting bit? Because we haven't actually done that yet, have we?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Let's have a go at shooting it.
See what it shoots like.
Okay, here we are, ready with the Precihole Achilles. This is the lightweight sporter rifle, the lightweight sporter PCP. I will say, usually we struggle with the lighter rifles. Famously, we say it on all the bullpups that they can be a bit floaty. But I was testing this earlier, and I'm expecting good things out of this. We're shooting at 25 metres indoor. Obviously, we've got our little tunnel range set up here. We're shooting QYS streamlined heavies, 4.50 head size. It is very quiet with their included moderator with pallets in. Oof. There you go. Pressure's on. Was it a fluke?
I had my Weetabix this morning. Now, I did lighten the trigger up a bit earlier because I felt the trigger weight was just a little bit too heavy on the second stage.
I didn't have an issue with it at all. I thought it was absolutely fine straight out of the box. I thought it was, in fact, very, very good. Very, very positive. Very, very crisp. Nice and easily adjustable, though. Oof. Yeah.
It's rather accurate,
impressive,
isn't it?
When I was testing it, when I was doing the business, it was putting them all through the same hole.
I had that as well when I was having a play.
Yeah. Now the lights and the cameras are on, it's opened up a little bit. Oof. pulled that one.
Yep, I did. Yeah. Yeah, I was getting through the same hole, very, very small, ragged hole earlier. But as you say, the lights on, the cameras are on, extra pressure. I don't think you can argue with that, can you?
That's all through the same hole in the
It is.
centre of that good group. You had one that went off a little bit, but that was very clearly just you. Right.
I'd say that's surprising.
Surprising good, surprising.
Surprising good, yeah. For, I mean, we spoke about this before, haven't we?
Air arms are backing them, right? So you would expect good things.
How much is it?
We will definitely tell you in the conclusion. I definitely remember currently.
It's surprisingly accurate.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very accurate.
The trigger is really, really sharp. Much. Is it sharper than anything else in the price range? I think the yeah. Well, let's change round and let's jump into the conclusion. Okay, so in conclusion, we've just seen how it shoots. It lives up to what I expected it to be.
It's exceeded what I expected, to be honest.
There you go. It's a high-end, well-built, well-built, high quality, I should have said.
Yeah.
Rifle. I think it's designed as a hunting rifle. It's the bits that matter. They've really put a lot of thought in. I personally would have preferred the magazine be a bit easier to use. Maybe the 2.2 one will be, because it's a bigger pellets going into the holes.
Interesting point. Yeah, interesting point. Now, what I'm going to do, rightly or wrongly, I'm going to compare this to one of the Chinese products.
Well, I mean,
or one of the Turkish products.
In the same price range.
Yeah. Now, this is Indian built.
Yeah.
Now that this company's been going since 2012, haven't they?
Yeah. As manufacturers of Precihole instruments.
Interesting.
Company does.
From their drilling,
yes.
weren't they? Drilling.
That's what
they made
yeah.
originally. Now, I'm going to compare it. Now, I'm going to say that the engineering definitely exceeds the Chinese stuff. I know the Chinese are getting better, but the quality of this is far better.
Chalk and cheese.
Far better.
Yeah.
Now, Turkish, I think that the quality on this is better than the Turkish.
Yes, but you get more toys and frills with the Turkish stuff, i.e. 2 magazines, regulator
Not quite in
the same price range, but regulator, bigger shot count with some. I think you get more frills with the Turkish stuff, but does that equate to quality rifle, as good a quality rifle? Possibly not.
I think probably with air arms, you don't get the frills that you'd get on some other rifles as well. I'll go out on a limb and say that.
That's again why I said it's a bit like an S410, but a bit cheaper. Synthetic stock rather than beach.
Certainly as good as an S200.
The old Air Arms S200.
I mean, the accuracy is...
Yeah.
Couldn't knock it at all.
Yeah, 100%. Well, there we go. We really, really like it. We hope you'll give the Precihole range a chance. Get your hands on it and have a go with it.
I would say definitely have a go with it.
Yeah.
It's going to surprise you.
Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.